Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to our final episode of One for Our Planet, an initiative by Pernod Ricard India to pave the way for a better future. The campaign has created huge impact and effected a larger movement with people from all walks of life coming together, joining hands, be it big corporations or seasoned change makers, trade partners to concerned citizens. We've seen massive engagement at every level in line with our hashtag One for Our Planet. Pernod Ricard India is removing 100% permanent mono cartons from their packaging, reducing waste to landfill, reducing the carbon footprint and deforestation. The future rests on mindful and effective solutions such as these. So today, we'll take a deep dive into the other ways that we can use sustainability as a guiding principle to make forward-looking decisions in our day-to-day lives. On the panel with me, to shine a light on these challenges and solutions, we have the campaign ambassador for this entire cause, One for Our Planet, an awe-inspiring movie star who's also an entrepreneur, believes strongly in the collective power of individual choices for positive change. Katrina Kaif, great to have you on board through this journey. It's been fantastic. And to talk about our campaign, One for Our Planet, and also future endeavors, we have with us Gagandeep Sethi, Vice President, Manufacturing and Whole-Time Director at Pernod Ricard India. Manufacturing, they get impacted by these sustainability decisions. Also joining us is Anand Malligawad, a passionate water conservationist from Bengaluru who resigned from his job to rejuvenate the city's lakes. Not only does he socialize or specialize in reviving the water bodies, he also designs native forests around them to sustain a complete natural habitat for flora, fauna, and fish species. Anand, welcome.
Thank you.
And your job is no longer limited only to Bengaluru, but let's take a quick look at your incredible journey so far.
Bengaluru was a lake city, like 1,850 water bodies we had. We used to get a crystal clear water. I seen slowly all these water bodies destroyed, which make me always sad. What we can give to our future generation, right? Our kids. We have been keep on extracting. There is no recharging. For example, this is the lake. It is a dry, dead lake condition. Last 40 years, there was no single drop of water in this. And it was a barren land. People used to play cricket in this. I am Anand Malligawad from Bangalore. I am working as a lake conservationist, trying to bring dead lakes back. This lake has been rejuvenated, 36-acre lake rejuvenated in 45 days. Right? Last 7 years till now, this is a crystal clear water. A lot of birds, beautiful aquatic life, flora and fauna has been developed. I wanted to make it a people moment, this lake rejuvenation. So instead of only creating an awareness and campaign, I started working live with lakes. When we restore the water bodies, when we create afforestation, community plays a major role in it. So they are the owner of it, they are the user of it. So we should educate them, we should engage them, see that they take a ownership. Then only such projects will sustain much longer time. These water bodies not only surface water, they recharge the underground. Also they create a microclimate. They are helping for entire flora and fauna in the planet. Also these water bodies are economy of the country. Without water, there is no life. So there is a water, there is a life.
Phenomenal story. Anand, let me first ask you, you had a job and you gave that up to build lakes.
Yes.
Why? And how did that happen?
Yeah.
That was what, 25 years ago?
Say 8 years ago.
8 years ago. 8 years ago.
Yeah. See, basically, like one day I read a newspaper saying that after the Cape Town, South Africa, Bangalore will become a zero water city.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and when I read the newspaper, after that I was also just glanced, by 2030, 21 cities will go zero water. After reading that, when it stuck in my mind, and I was thinking like, why it's going zero water? What is the problem? Because 1996, I seen Bangalore, every 15 feet, every house had a well, right? We used to extract the water with the kayar one rope, right? So why it's happened? When I keep on studied, deep way, then I understood that Bangalore has about 1,850 lakes, which were recharging the aquifers, which were supplying the drinking water for the entire city. We buried and closed it because of borewell concept came, right? So I was thinking like, why don't I create awareness for the people? I spent long time, creating awareness, but being a common man, it's not possible. It did not reach so many people. So one day I decided, why don't I start working on water bodies only? So that is how I thought, and then before starting, I should understand. Being a mechanical engineer, I did not know much about lakes. I was thinking like, let me study about this, then let me get in. I spent about 6 months in visiting about 180 lakes in Bangalore, understood the ecosystem, so many experts I consulted and all. After that, I come to conclusion that let me rejuvenate one lake, less cost, less time, self-sustainable, which I did it in 2017.
That was what, the Kailasanahalli Lake?
Kailasanahalli Lake. And it was a 36-acre lake. I'm the first man in the country to rejuvenate in less than 95 lakhs, which other players spend more than 15, 16 crores. I could able to do it in less than 45 days. But till today, that is with a crystal clear water, beautiful aquatic life, around beautiful forest.
How did you do it?
So I took a lot of so many lakes I visited and understood. So people are talking about beautification of the lake, which I did not do. I worked on ecosystem. I worked on water, botanicals, afforestation. Automatically lake got filled up. In the 2017, April 20th, I started that project. By June 5th, World Environment Day, I planted about 50,000 saplings in and around the lake. And August 15th, I cleared the encroachment, about more than 12 acres encroachment, with the help of villagers, taking their support, without single conflict, complaint, or any government officials. After happening that, in September first week, Bangalore received the highest rain in the Bangalore. Same guy with a barren foot, I walked around the lake and got the work done. I did a boating in it. It given me biggest thrill, and that is how journey started.
Let me put Katrina in the spot and say, if there's one thing that you have to change, one thing that you could change so that we become more sustainable, or you become more sustainable, what is it that we can do, or what is it that you would do?
I think it would just be being conscious of our everyday choices, our everyday habits, and our everyday lifestyle, because it's the small things that add up to the large total. We see people like Sir here, who's given such an inspiring story. I mean, when you hear it, you think and you wonder, what am I doing? It's so inspiring to hear that. And I think sometimes for if we say like, us normal people in this, when it comes to this topic, it can be even intimidating. We don't know where to start, and if you can't start big, then you do nothing at all. So small choices, being conscious of the kind of fabrics that you're using. Is this material able to be recycled? The kind of waste segregation, like Sir said, he gave some really important examples of just that and alone can make such a big difference. Respecting our natural environment, not littering, not disposing of your garbage, your tissues, your plastics when you're in a natural environment, a beach, a lake. If you go to a lake for a picnic or something, wherever your natural environment is, being very, very conscious of the environmental footprint that you're leaving behind.
You're campaign ambassador for One for Our Planet. Now we're going to be moving ahead. The campaign continues, but some thoughts in your head that what do you think you can do going forward?
I think the most important thing for me when I was asked to be this campaign ambassador, the first thing I said is, okay, do I know enough about this? And then I realized that this is actually an opportunity for me to further educate myself on everything that we can do for the environment. During all of the episodes that we've done, I've had a chance to learn from the change makers, from the leaders like Sir sitting next to us right now. And I think that is inspiring, and that is where the change is going to be made. The more information and education that we have, the more people are going to be inspired to make distinct actions and changes in their life that are going to impact the environment in a better way.
Let me ask you, what's the vision? What's the roadmap for Pernod Ricard India?
Well, as
especially
Pernod
with
Ricard,
sustainability.
Pernod Ricard as a group, as well as India, we very committed to the ESG framework, and we call it sustainability and responsibility. Whether it is water and wastewater management, our product is water, right? Almost.
Yeah.
So a huge impetus around that, because we know water situation in India. Lot many high risk sites exist. So a lot of work is happening around that. Carbon emission, that's the big thing for all organizations across the globe nowadays, right? And we are fully committed towards, so we've taken SDG targets, right? 2025, we have an ambition to be 100% on renewable electricity across the group. It's all across the world. By 2030, we're committing to a 50% reduction in our carbon emissions. In India, in fact, we're going a leap ahead. We're talking of almost 85% reduction of our carbon emission, right? So these are some of the choices that we're making, and driving the efficiency across our facilities. Water, first of all, the water framework itself is around reduce, reuse, recycle, and then replenish, right? So, so I think the first three are within the remit of the manufacturing, within the fence sort of an approach. And the replenishment is outside of it. And there also for the high risk sites, as we stand as on today, we give back to the Mother Earth almost 2.6 times of the water that is extracted out. So that sort of a water neutrality and positivity we are aiming.
Sometimes it's so confusing to know what to do if you're just an ordinary person, ordinary lay person like me, and we don't have the knowledge and experience that all of our amazing guests have had. If you just choose a few changemakers or organizations or even companies who are doing incredible work in this area, if you just follow them, whether it's on your website or it's on a YouTube channel or your favorite social media channel, I think you'll get so much information from there, and that will just make it a part of your life. It's almost like how we get our news every day. If we just make this part of the news that we are reading or absorbing every day, we'll immediately get the cues from there of the changes that we can incorporate into our own lives.
It's time for a very quick break. Fantastic talking with you, Anandji. Thank you very, very much. We'll talk more about the future outlook towards sustainability. Stay tuned to the culmination episode of our One for Our Planet initiative, an initiative of Network 18 with Pernod Ricard India. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching One for Our Planet, a sustainability initiative by Pernod Ricard India. In our last and final episode of the series, we are talking about how sustainability will inevitably be an integrated part of our future. And what should our vision be for the next few years? How should corporates take on the ambitious plans that improve on the status quo? On the show with me to talk about the future outlook for sustainability are Katrina Kaif, actor, entrepreneur, and a dedicated campaign ambassador for One for Our Planet. Gagandeep Sethi, Vice President Manufacturing and Whole-Time Director at Pernod Ricard India. And joining us is Sonam Wangchuk, a person who needs no introduction, an engineer, innovator, education reformist. He's not only been an inspiration behind fictional character of Phunchuk Wangdu in Three Idiots, but has also inspired a lot of change makers. A recipient of the 2018 Raymond Magsaysay Award, Sonamji's community-driven learning reforms have brought economic progress and improved opportunities for Ladakh youth. Sonamji, namaste. It's great to have you with us. Let me first ask you this, Sonamji. It's inclement weather in Ladakh, but it's looking bright and sunny around you. Where are you?
I'm in the valley of Phyang in Ladakh. It is really cold outside, roughly minus 15 these days at night. But I'm very comfortable in our solar heated house, which stays around plus 20, much warmer than Delhi.
See, wow, walking, talking, you're like sustainability. So I'm going to ask you this. How do we make our children understand the importance of sustainability?
Now there, our country and the whole world has to go a long way to bring reforms in our education system. Actually, I would say redefine the education system. That's what is needed. our education system is still from the times some 200, 300 years ago, when we were gung-ho about production and consumption, extraction from nature, and blowing the planet away. And that's what we have done in the last 200 years of industrialization. So it's time we change it and make education a great asset for healing the planet rather than hurting it even more than what we have done so far. So therefore, in Ladakh, we say that education should not be just about the head part of the human being, which is all the chemistry and biology and maths you have, and a lot about livelihood and profits and so on. It should be more than just head. It should be about 3 H's, we say, rather than 3 R's as the convention goes: reading, writing and arithmetic. That will not do good to people nor to the planet. So 3 H's, we say, is, yes, we should work for children's bright heads. They should be bright in their heads, but their hands should be skilled also, so that they can do things themselves and survive if there are problems. You can see how in the US there were storms and cyclones and people were actually handicapped. They couldn't, with all their technology, they couldn't even survive. Yeah. So you have to be skilled in your hands, and thirdly and most importantly, kind in your hearts. And that's what we call the 3 H's: head, hands and heart.
I want you to tell us a little more about the students' educational and cultural movement of Ladakh, Sonamji. And within that, this sustainability-focused educational model. You've got a sustainability-focused school. Is that working? Can it work across the country?
Yes, the school you're talking about, we started some 35 years ago. Wow. Where we wanted to create a model of what education should be about in the current times. So it's a school where sustainability is like taken for a given. Of course, we have to learn to live with the planet in harmony with other sentient beings. So it's a school that has been, using solar energy and solar heating since the mid-90s, being carbon neutral and zero energy, when these terms were not even coined. So we have been building the school with mud, natural material, ecological material, and powering it with the sun. It's a part of the living, and students actually design and build the school. So education is not just about something you read and go, it's something you live. What you read in the science textbooks is put into practice. When you make a solar heated house, you have to apply the chapter on heat in your 9th grade, like conduction, convection, radiation. All that you apply and get a building that I was explaining, which says it's plus 20 when it is minus 15 outdoors.
Sonamji, time is of essence. So final question to you. I want to ask you, and if through you, what can we do, one for our planet? So one thing that we can do for our planet, what would you tell our viewers?
Well, there's no one thing, but everybody needs to feel responsible for not just themselves and their families or humankind, but all sentient beings on the planet, that we share our planet. They are our relatives, So we have to adopt lifestyles that are sustainable, and life can be very simple. We don't have to hoard all the wealth and material of the world. After all, we'll still be eating like 3 meals, even if we are billionaires or the richest people in the world. So what's the point? It's as soon as you have enough for you and your family, it's time to think for others and help them. And for yourself also, coming to specifics, you can be, thinking of the planet by not wasting food. Similarly, we could pledge to not use, cars where you can walk or bicycle, not use aeroplanes where we can take the train. So many things we can do, but keeping in our mind that we are not the only ones on this planet. We have to think for all the others who share this planet is what makes us human.
Yes, fantastic message on that note. Sustainably shared future vision. Quick word on that, Gagan.
Over the last 1 decade, we've been seeing globally corporates committing themselves into, and that's true for Pernod Ricard also, in terms of the ESG framework, and we are formulating policies. We are taking targets based on SDGs and SPTs, right? And we are committed to make an impact, right? And there are bold statements in the physical world which have been made in terms of how we aspire to be, not only in the manufacturing operations, which is my forte, but as a whole business, right? So, like Pernod Ricard Group has taken 5 markets around the group, around the world, where we will be basically looking into circular distribution, right? So it's not only production, right? So it's from grain to glass, the entire ecosystem, the entire value chain.
Closing comments as we wind up?
I think the 3 most inspirational things that I've taken away from what Sonamji has said is living in harmony with the environment, and what sets us apart from all other, living creatures, empathy.
Yeah.
Simple word, but important to be reminded of, and living what you need to learn.
Yeah.
I think just these 3 statements, if we just write them down as bullet points or on our phone where we can see them every day and apply that to the way we live, I think we'd all see huge benefits in our lives.
Absolutely. Very well said. From taking more than what we want and taking more than what we give, you move to give more than what you take, and you take only what you need. So it's not just a play of words. There's a philosophy there, and like Sonamji's put it brilliantly. Thank you so much, Sonamji. Always a pleasure speaking with you. And that brings us to the end of our final episode of One for Our Planet, an initiative by Pernod Ricard India. We've had some very, very important, engaging, and of course, mind-numbing and mind-opening discussions, and heard some heartwarming stories. We've met sustainability stalwarts and young trailblazers from across the country. There are learnings galore that we can take away with us, and while this is the end of this series, the movement has only just begun. We hope these trailblazing initiatives will inspire you to take up the mantle of being advocates and champions for a sustainable future. Let's pledge to make eco-conscious choices, spread the word, and also empower others to be mindful at each stage of consumption. Together, we can make a big impact. So let's pledge to be one for our planet.
Let's become one to save water, to protect the forests, to reduce waste, to clean the air. Let's pledge to become one for our planet.
To take the pledge, log on to news18.com, One for Our Planet. Pernod Ricard India presents One for Our Planet in association with News18 Network.
And with that, we close the series of One for Our Planet. Let's take charge and set in motion the wheels for sustainable progress and leave behind a better planet than the one that was given to us. Thank you for watching.